Welcome back to the Adventures of the Zebulon Harding, where things are getting a little complicated in the home system for Glimmer and Last Hope. Glimmer, the toxic world with, I want to say, 10,000, tens of thousands of inhabitants, no atmosphere, and poison sludge-filled river networks. And Last Hope, the desert world of salt flats, and currently the home of the Zebulon Harding, as Earl takes off with Paladin and heads to Glimmer to figure out what it is that the forces of Meridian Station are up to. Um, yeah, so when we last left the action, several dozen armed ships had dropped into the system from multiple locations and essentially attempted to put a blockade, or announced they were going to be putting a blockade around the planet of Glimmer until essentially Earl was turned over to them, or Earl listed in the statement as the captain of the Zebulon Harding, and also the ship, the Zebulon Harding, was turned over to him. Why they're suddenly so hot for Earl to be turned over and the ship to be turned over, unknown, but it's possible it has something to do with the fact that the ship, the Zebulon Harding, and Earl showed back up in Meridian, in the system of Meridian, a few short hours ago and riled them up a little bit. And whatever they think they're going to get out of him, they apparently seem to think he's up to something. So his hope is that he can figure out what that is if he gets closer to where they seem to think he's at. And I'm not sure. It's not a great plan. I have questions. I have doubts that I would like to raise with Earl, but he's not listening to me right now, so he's off to the planet of Glimmer with Paladin. And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can't sneak carefully using Scout slash Paladin's shuttle, which he says is stealthy, to get back on the Glimmer without the nascent blockade detecting us. So we're going to get in here and take a look at Earl. And I don't think I have any assets for sneaking, specifically scavenger gearhead. Fugitive, technically. Oh, wait. When you take a move by hiding, concealing your identity, or I think hiding, sneaking, hiding, sneaking. When you make a move by hiding, concealing your identity, or fleeing from a pursuer. Whenever I'm in doubt about stuff like this and I'm playing solo, what I basically do is go, if the player, and I was running this game, if the player said, can I use Fugitive for this based on this thing, would I say yes? And I would say yes. So I'm going to say yes. So yeah, I'll take that move. All right, so I'm going to be rolling my shadow and going, since Arnav is with me and helping, and he is a smuggler and an agent against corporations. I'm taking every bonus. I'm a little bit scared to do this because I had a big bonus on my last roll and it was so great. It was just awesome. So I'm a little bit nervous about giving myself all these breaks because this could happen again. I would like that not to happen again, but you know what? It is what it is. So going back over here, and we're going to roll Shadow, which is a 2. Modifier +1 plus another 2 for Arnav helping. Gives me a total of +3. And we'll go down here and see. Now this time I got a strong hit. That's great. That's kind of what I would have expected last time. I didn't even roll as well. But I'll take it. I will take that strong hit. So let's going back over here to face danger with deception, stealth, or trickery. We are going to take a +1 momentum, and also thanks to my asset, I believe that gives me another momentum. Does it? It does. So that gets me up to momentum of 5, and that brings us down to that brings us back down to Glimmer. Now, Glimmer, as we'll recall, is a toxic world with tens of thousands of people on it, and that kind of begs the question, how? I believe that I had established at one point in time that it was essentially a big dome city, so I went looking for big dome cities on a poison world, and I came up with some art to illustrate that. Unfortunately, I found this perfect picture of a dome city on what looks like a pretty unhealthy planet. I found it on Pinterest, and Pinterest is where art attribution goes to die. But after a lot of digging around, I was able to find, I believe, the original artist. So we're going to put that in here. This is, I will murder that name, but because I'm a culturalist swine. That is W City 3 by Xiaohihu? Xiaohihu, I think. I found this on, hopefully, oh, maybe I found this over on Reddit. I think maybe this is their ArtStation account. Let's find out. This is where the work was originally attributed to, and that ArtStation account is not coming up. But that's the only thing I've been able to find using Tin Eye. Tin Eye is the weapon that you can use to combat the worst of Pinterest's sins. But in any case, I wanted to be able to like give at least some attribution or at least take a shot at it. So there you have it, our poisoned domed city of on Glimmer, where we are coming in and trying to figure out what's going on here. So once we get down and we have met up with, you know, maybe our allies, we found Asana and we're kind of holed up in some safe place on the planet. Let's take a look at what's going on with this Glimmer's deal. If I remember right, we've got 10,000. Authority is tolerant. Visible from space, a corrupted person. Kimura Shim, and Kimura Shim is sort of the crime mafia lord who runs all this, you know, is in cahoots with the Meridian folks. So you would think that they have some kind of presence inside of the main. We'll call it W City 3, whatever W City stands for. We'll call it W City 3. Say there's a couple of domes, but this is the big one. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'll ask Asana and Arnav. It's like, okay, so what's going on? Like, are they just up above? Do they have people down here in the city? What are they up to? And I want to find out if there's any forces down here, because I have a bit of an idea that I might be able to figure out if they expect me to do something. If they expect Earl to be doing something, then they will try to prevent it. And whatever they are trying to prevent should tell me what they expect me to do, and then maybe will give me some more information. Maybe? It can't give me less information. I have no idea why they think I'm suddenly like enemy number one. So let's get in here and see what we've got going on. So, all right, what are they doing? Like, what is even going on here? Let's gather information. When you search for clues, roll wits. That's all I can do. It's not asking quite. I'm just trying to figure out what even is going on. All right, so I'm going to search for clues on what the hell is even, what they're even doing on this planet. What's going on? I'll find out first of all what's going on. Now, again, Arnev is an agent, and that is the only thing that's going to apply is the agent part of it, not the smuggler part, because essentially this is finding out information about this corporate organization, which, as we've established, he is bound and determined to work against here. So we're going to take a shot at this and see what we get. This is less useful. Indeed, that is a burn momentum on a weak hit, but that is a miss against a 5 and a 4 on the challenge dice. I can burn momentum to get a weak hit. On a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. On a weak hit, it provides some insight, but also complicates your quest. Envision what you discover, and then take +1 momentum. Okay, so out of curiosity to see what the miss would look like, I rolled pay the price and got you create an opportunity for an enemy, which I don't love any of that. Against my better judgment, I am going to roll with this and see what we get. So Arnav, as an agent, has a lot of feelers out for this kind of corporate activity. Corporation activities, oligarch kind of moving about kind of things, and he reveals essentially a communication surveillance room that he uses to spy on communications chatter and that sort of thing. He explains that he's got a bunch of de-encrypting algorithms running and stuff, and can get a good deal of the communications opened up. And ship to ship stuff isn't going to get caught because it's being probably tight beamed from ship to ship, but there are a few communications with the ground, mostly having to do with Mostly it would have been communications to Comortium, because I don't think that they probably got a lot of people on the ground. Probably not least because this isn't like some kind of authoritarian government here that's run by Comortium. This is like a relatively tolerant organization. Part of the problem that is Comortium's able to run roughshod over most of this stuff is these guys are pretty tolerant of most things, and but they're not friendly necessarily to this kind of abuse and sort of abuse of sovereign rights and all that kind of thing. So yeah, this isn't a great thing. So they're communicating with Comortium, and the communications that we pick up are like Shim is like, this is supposed to be a they're not happy. And I'm not even sure that Shim's necessarily the one on. I don't know what they sound like, but whoever it is talking is not happy. This is not how needs to be done. This is just antagonizing everything. This is gonna make everything so much harder. And whoever is up there, and I think again it's that security guy from Meridian Station, kind of coldly talking. I know exactly who this guy sounds like, but as it is just somebody I know in real life that nobody else is going to recognize, it doesn't help me to tell you that because you're not going to know. But I know exactly who this guy sounds like. Anyway, he's talking, and there, Shim is obviously very irate and frustrated by this whole thing. This is supposed to be a covert kind of agreement. This is going to make things a lot more difficult. It's like, well, what's going to make it a lot more difficult, says this commander, whose name, again, I didn't have a chance to go and look up. What's going to make it a lot more difficult is that when Baxter arrived in our system, our sensors picked up the fact that he had a wisp. Well, a new wisp arrived in the system at the same time as the ship, which means he has one of the things aboard, probably captured the same way that we've been able to transfer them. And if he's figured out a way to transfer them and he's brought them here, then he is probably trying to use it to access the vault. I thought you said you couldn't do that. We haven't been able to safely transport them for any length of time, and the few times that we've attempted to do that have been unsuccessful. But if he's figured out how to do it, then we can use the bloody thing, but we first have to find it. Luckily, we brought sensors, and we're going to be able to find it, and once we do, we will be the one who brings it to access the vault. But until then, we need to make sure that he doesn't get that close to it. Well, he isn't anywhere near here. I've got people as close as you can get to the damn thing, outside of the damn bloody lichen. Wonderful. He has shown, unfortunately, a tremendous capacity for avoiding people who are trying to keep him out of places he has no business being, and the ship is the same way. So we are scanning. We don't believe he's on that the Wisp is on the planet, and we don't have any scans of the ship or the Wisp anywhere in deep space anywhere around the planet. So we are beginning to broaden our search, and when we find it, be assured that we will be in touch. Well, does that mean you can drop the damn blockade? Just because we don't think he's on the planet doesn't mean that he's not on the planet. So no, we will not be dropping the blockade at this time. That is going to make things very difficult when you try to land. They are timid. They are not helpless. We will deal with that when the time comes. In the meantime, we are simply explaining ourselves to you as our partner in this venture. And I appreciate that, but don't push me. If you begin to make my life even more difficult on this planet than it already is, I'm going to return the favor. You're not so powerful in this sector that you can't be touched. I'm not sure that this is the time to begin mutual recriminations and threats. Well, then we agree with each other. Why don't you find your little magical space ghost and key to these damn vaults, and we'll talk. And that's about all we're able to get as the communication cuts off. So, well, that's awful, because they're scanning the planet. They think that for some reason K can get them access to the vaults, or that Wisps in general can get them access to the vault. No idea why that would be. And they're scanning for them, and they know that they're not on the planet, which means they're starting to scan further afield. And I mean, one of the first places they're probably going to look is going to be the other inhabited planet. And I'm immediately in a panic. We need to get back to that. We need to get back there, and we need to get back to the ship, and we need to get the hell out of here. Have you got, like, what kind of stealth tech did you have on the thing? Do you have some way we can hide the ship more than it already is? I mean, if they can find K, they can scan for it, but there's something. And I'm going to check my gear. When you check to see if you have a specific helpful item or resource, roll plus supply. On a strong hit, you have it and you're ready to act. And I'm rolling this. I've never rolled check your gear before, but basically I'm rolling it to see if, really what I'm rolling is to see whether an Arnav has the damn thing. An Arnav is a smuggler, so I'm going to say that having something that helps you conceal your ship's movements and that sort of thing is likely, or at least he can help. He increases the odds of this working. So I'm going to roll plus supply, but I'm going to roll with a +1 because of the +1 from Arnav's smuggler. Cross our fingers. And that is a 10. Unfortunately, against a 10 and a 2 for a weak hit that I can't do anything about, but that's fine. On a weak hit, you have it, but you have to choose one. Your supply is diminished. Sacrifice resources. It's not quite right, or it causes a complication of delay. Lose momentum. I'm going to lose momentum on this because I think he goes, well, I've got one, but it isn't built for your ship. That's fine. If I can plug it in, I can make it work. I'll jury rig it. It'll be fine. If you got some, this, yeah, we can use it. We just have to get you there. I'm sorry about all this. Earl, it's fine. I mean, they're clearly, well, they're crazy. I don't know if they are crazy. I mean, it's possible. I mean, they had tried to bring K to this other system that has a precursor vault, but the original crew of the Zebulon interfered with them somehow, and that all went haywire. So, I mean, it's not, well, if they are crazy, they're consistent about it. And I've seen weirder things. You know what? We weren't able to see that other precursor vault orbiting around last time. Did you ever know that was there? We weren't able to see that until you were with me, and I didn't notice it. I'm not sure if I ever noticed it before, and I have to wonder if it isn't just because Kay was with us on the ship. I mean, maybe that's, I don't know. Universe is a weird place. The Forge is a weird place. We just keep running into weird Let's just get back there. All right, so once again, I am going to roll stealth to try to get back over there before I realize I'm racing to get back over there, but I'm also trying to make sure that they don't detect us. And I think the stealth is a more relevant thing here. So I'm rolling face danger with deception, stealth, or trickery. I am adding all the same things I was adding before. So I'm adding 3 onto that. So because it's 1 for my asset and 1 for and 2 for both the smuggler and the agent portion of Arnav's bonus. So we're going to take that +2 for this particular situation and try to get. This is terrible because we went all the way back over there and all we got to do was spy on their damn communications ahead. That's not exactly what I intended to have happen there on the planet. There on the planet, but Dice had other ideas. All right, that's a miss with a match. Okay. Man, this is a cursed series of events going on right now. Face danger. On a miss, you fail, or a momentary success is undermined by a dire turn of events. Pay the price. Pay the price. And it's a match, which means all kinds of things. A friend, companion, or ally is in harm's way where you are if you're alone. See, I thought Asana was in harm's way. I thought that's the problem is we were coming back over here because like she's on the planet and they're going to occupy it and also that kind of stuff. Every single decision that I've made up to this point has been wrong in this system. And now a friend, a companion, or an ally is in harm's way. And we are ready and we have something to put on the Zebulon Harding for stealth. And we get back there as fast as we can and it doesn't matter. The ship is still there, but there's smoke sort of trailing out of the hatch, the open hatch of the ship. And I race in there and I can't find Kay anywhere and all the lights on the ship are dark. Everything's non-responsive. There is marks of other ships there. There's not really marks of a struggle because really how would they struggle? And I'm trying to get the ship back online. I'm back and you know there's the power plant is there. It's running. The ship wasn't shot up or anything, but everything is dark and I get back to the bridge. And I'm flicking switch. I'm essentially shutting everything off and rebooting, pulling power stuff, and I'm looking, and it's like every sign would indicate that there was some sort of massive electromagnetic pulse. Every breaker in the ship is basically blown or thrown. So I'm trying to reset everything I can on the bridge just to get anything back online that I can. And eventually I do. Lights start to come back online and the systems start to flicker and come to life, and that hum up this almost subliminal hum that I don't even realize is there when the ship is running properly comes back, And I'm like, I don't realize that I was holding my breath for missing that until I hear it and I can finally let my breath out. Earl says, Zeb, what happened? Are you all right? And the speakers crackle back to life, and Zeb says, warning, you are not authorized to access this ship's systems. Who are you? And we're left with Earl just staring in shock at the control panel in front of him. And that's where we're going to stop. Yeah, Kay's been abducted by Meridian, and Zeb has been harmed. So that's where we're going to pick things up next time, kids. And again, thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for just the continual engagement and feedback and everything like that. I really, really appreciate it. Sorry that this one is short. Next time we got a lot to do. See you soon.